people say I'm a bigot, I don't like the Fulani, I hate them. That is far from the truth. What I hate is the stupidity and the complicity of the Fulani feudal lords with the massacre, the mayhem, the nepotism, the backwardness, and the primitivity going on in the zoo. These are the people you expect. Those of you who are not in the right frame of mind. I want to ask you a question this evening. These are the people they are appointing. I told you before. The reason why they need Fulani in every position of authority is to cover their shortcomings, to make sure they retain power until they dip that Quran in the Atlantic Ocean. Are you following me? Now, do you know there is Raw Materials Research and Development Institute? That a Fulani man is in charge. His name is Hussein Ibrahim. And I want to ask this very simple question. Everybody listening to this program, with millions of people all over the world, have you heard of a Fulani scientist before? Simple question, yes or no? And I know the answer is no. Now, if there is no Fulani scientist of note, can you tell me why a Hussein Ibrahim was appointed the Director General of Raw Materials Research and Development? And when he was given that position, what did he do with it? You'll be shocked this very evening. I want people to understand the meaning of mediocrity. I want people to understand the damage that the Fulani Janjaweed administration, the skeleton, the one that Aisha is leading, how empty they are, how vacuous they are, how inconsequential they are, how primitive they are, how ruinous they are, and how their stupidity and political impotence is affecting everybody up to the extent of giving rise to 7 terror groups. Follow this very carefully. Now, I want to play this for you so that the world may know what is happening in the zoo called Nigeria. Listen carefully. Listen very, very carefully.
Yes, by 30 years of a research activity, young institution. But to be candid with you, we are making progress. For now, we have developed a technology to optimize kilishi production. Kilishi.
Okay, issue one second. You have the floor.
You have been in operation for over 30 years.
Yes.
33 years. And up to date, we have not been able to,
What I'm saying, I'm just trying to give a background.
Which background?
The background to say that this is time to get to market. And I'm saying that we have reached milestone to get to the market. We need to understand this, sir. And that is why I'm now, after having said that, I'm now going back to now make some specific mention of the technologies that we know have reached the market. We have processed kilishi process technology.
Excuse me.
Hold on. I just explained.
Hold on. What you are just talking.
Let's ask Mr. David, take it from there.
What you are saying is just you are telling us stories. Is that the success story you are going to tell us after 33 years? There's nothing here. Almost, you are just surviving on the potentials of this, all these, raw materials. You are not being able to design. You have your own dome. What are you telling us? It's just what this agency is just wasting our money.
For 30 years, over 30 years, Janjaweed has been there in charge of research. These are people that cannot boast of any poet, no writer, no scientist, no engineer of any reputable standing. None whatsoever. But when it comes to appointments, they get everything. So they're asking him, after 30 years of raw materials research, under your watch now that you're now the head of, what have you managed to produce? Do you know what he said? He said that they have optimized the production of kilishi. You know what is kilishi? Kilishi is suya, meat, barbecued meat. So, for 30 years, what they were researching is how to slice suya, so it will be very thin and right in the sun. and put a bit of chili on it. Sun-dried beef in 30 years. That is a country that people tell me they're proud of. This is the one Nigeria, some fools come online to write rubbish, praising, saying they're patriotic for 30 whole years. And you're wondering why George Floyd was killed. Why wouldn't George Floyd be killed by white racists? Why wouldn't he be killed? And many more before him. And many more will be killed after him. Why not? When in Africa, the giant of Africa, the so-called giant of Africa, for 30 years, 30 years, the only thing they have managed to accomplish with their flagship research institute is how to slice meat, suya. So it will be very thin. You put it in pepper, you put it on the roof so that flies and everything will converge and the sun will dry it. Kilishi. From a Fulani man, I am ashamed to be a black person after listening. I am horrified. After 30 years, Research Institute. The woman asked him, in 30 years, can you tell us what the benefit of the research you've been doing? Which company or companies have benefited from it? What materials, what products have you managed to produce or to say commercialize? He said that they have commercialized suya production. Kilishi. Kilishi, giant of Africa. We are moving forward. The largest economy in Africa. The most populous black nation. No secession, no division. We are going to die here, all of us. These are the sort of people they produce. And an idiot will wake up and tell me, I was horrified. This level of stupidity is the reason why white people are racists. And you may not know the reason. You may be wondering, but how? Let me ask you, how come they don't kill other people as they're killing black people? How come? Because every other part of the world is doing very well. You cannot be a racist towards a South Korean. If you disturb them, they will go home. Even if they're from North Korea, if you give them too much hassle, they will go to South Korea and they'll find a job. How can you be racist towards a Chinese? They are the second largest economy in the world and the second strongest military in the world. Respect. How can you be racist towards a Japanese? In London, in Nomura Bank in those days, Japanese people get paid more than white people. That is class. Do you understand it? Do you understand it? You have not done anything that people that people will look at and they will marvel and say, oh, let's respect them. I have been preaching this for many years. Respect is earned. The fact you're a black person walking all over the world doesn't confer upon you any special status or makes you to be deserving or worthy of respect. It is what you are able to do. After the Second World War, America was the only nuclear power. Russia knew that for America to respect Russia, they needed their own nuclear weapons too. And that's exactly what Russia did. They copied the technology from the USA. One day they announced it. They didn't stop there. They placed a man, Yuri Gagarin, in orbit, into outer space. America now knew that these people are worthy of our respect. That is how respect works. You earn respect. The fact that a black man white can't start respecting you. Why wouldn't they kill you in America? Or elsewhere, or in China? Tell me one African country that you're proud of. I said, name one single one. All of you are protesting George Floyd against racism. And in your own country that same day, a place you claim is your country, as you're protesting, saying you're angry about a white man killing a black man, black people killed over 100 people. And none of you protested. That is the height of hypocrisy. To slice suya was what Nigeria achieved with their flagship research institute in 30 years. And you're telling me you're a Nigerian? Hey! Lord have mercy. The leading black nation in the world, as Britain will have you believe, in 33 years, all they produce is suya. Suya that has been in existence for heaven knows when. A black man is the reason why other races look down upon them. A black man is the reason why people are being killed all over the world. If you are black, you are in danger. You are imperiled because of the behavior of all of us, of black people. If nobody will tell you, I will tell you. Our behavior stinks. The policeman that killed George Floyd is fulfilling his duty because you're useless, you are nothing. I know some children are listening. I preach the way I do, so they will not be like their fathers and their grandfathers. Never. You must be different. And that difference starts from Africa doing well. Africa must do, for you to be a black, anywhere in the world, and you're a black man, if Africa, black Africa, sub-Saharan Africa is not fixed, you have no honor, you have no dignity, you have no class, and you have no worth. You are worthless. If you like, be Oprah Winfrey. If you like, be TD Jakes. You are nothing. It won't stop them from killing black people. Because collectively we are dumb. Dumb, useless. I'm telling you the truth. Some of you never knew before. George Floyd died when? In 2020. They killed him in America. Because I'm saying this for the fools that will come and say, oh, but you can see Oprah Winfrey, you can see Michael Jordan, you can see, all of you, you don't reason. You derive your worth from the value, from the sum value of a collective. That's why when we speak, we say the British did this. It could be only one person. We say Britain did this. Britain did that. Only what Lugard did, we are still talking about today. Collective. America did this because of what Pompeo said. Collective, as a unit, as a people. Do you know that the first woman billionaire in the history of the whole world was a black woman in America? Do you know who her neighbors were? Rockefeller. A black woman. Her name was Grace, wasn't it? I'm sure some of you have seen it on Netflix. You go and watch it. Her next door neighbor was the richest man in the whole world. Rockefeller was her next door neighbor. That was how rich she was. A black woman. Did that change the lives of black people? No. Individually, maybe her bloodline may have benefited. Maybe earned a little bit of respect. The way they respect maybe Beyonce or whoever, because you've made it in life as a person. But as a group, once a policeman sees you in America and you're black, your chances of survival is very slim. They're not doing it because they hate you necessarily. They're doing it because you are a human being. You have refused to think and reason like a human being, and you're not living like a human being. That's why they do it. And do you know why? Every racist in the world, every racist, you know those are called racists, not the likes of the policeman that killed George Floyd. Those are called racists. Are those that believe that Nigeria should be one. Are those that come and tell me that something a white man created, a non-African created, should be preserved, and if you speak against it, you die. They are the real racists. Like Senator Shehu Sani. These are the real. Their own racism comes from ignorance. They know nothing. Their brains are empty. A black man is the fuel, is the oxygen that keeps the flame of racism burning. A black man is, and I'm proving it to you tonight. These are black people that support the instruments of racism. Some of you don't know that we heard and we saw them pulling down all the statues of all the races they can find everywhere. Yeah, I was even told that the statue of Rhodes is also under scrutiny. You know who is Rhodes? I'll tell you later. Black people are the reason why there is racism in the world. Especially black Africans and their failed governments all over the place. Because all of them are agents of the agents of the racists. Before you become a president in Africa, you must be an agent of one of the 5 super spy networks in the world. You must be. You must be serving the Americans, the French, the British, the Israelis. You must serve somebody. The Russians, the Chinese. You must serve somebody, or else you can never win that election. It's impossible. Somebody must be standing behind you. And then I'll tell you what to do, how to run your policies. And you agree. Then the funniest thing, if you disagree, they will kill you. We shall get to that later. Now, I want to prove to everybody that the nonsense happening in the zoo, the killings, the suffering that we are all crying over, the killing of George Floyd, it is you that caused it. You listening, you are the cause of it. Do you know why? Because you have failed to untangle the chain of racism around your neck. You have failed to set yourself free. As Bob Marley said, your reasoning capacity, you are growing every day in ignorance, not in knowledge. Every day you grow in ignorance. That is why somebody who went to a university, came out with a doctorate degree, forged from Adebayo University, is the head of a research unit, raw materials research, with billions upon billions of dollars voted every year for research. All they came up with was fear. Anybody supporting one Nigeria is a racist, because everything you have in place has been put there by a racist. The reason why you were created and named after a river is because Lugard and Flora Shaw had no regard for you. And instead of you to wake up one morning and say enough is enough, as they're now doing in the West, you see the way white people reason? They're going around pulling down all the statues of racists. Can you do that in Africa? You cannot do it. Do you see the difference between white and black? Do you see why you are poor and they are rich? Do you see why they have light and you don't? Do you see why they have drinking water and you don't? Because the way you reason is defective, it is flawed. The people sustaining racism, the people that killed George Floyd, are black Africans, and those African Americans that refused to return to Africa to build it. I will ask you again, have you seen anybody being racist towards a Brazilian or being racist towards any affluent country in the world? No. They beg them to come for holidays. If you see where they're begging Chinese people to give them visa for free, go anywhere you like, then you will know that you are the architect of your own problem. I've not come tonight to make anybody feel good. I have come to preach what heaven asked me to preach. Before we can get into our freedom, we need to reason in a particular way. If we don't reason that way, we will get worse fools than the janjaweed you have in the zoo running our government, and nobody can hold them accountable. Now listen very carefully, please. There are 7 terrorist groups in the zoo called Nigeria. 7. I'll name them for you. Jamaat Nusrat al-Islam wal Muslimin, JNIM. You have the Islamic State in West Africa, ISWAN. You have the Islamic State, Greater Sahara, another one, ISGS. You have Al-Qaeda in Islamic Maghreb, AQIM. You have the Ansarudin. You have Boko Haram, and you have Miet Yala. From one people. So when Buratai says, or his ghost says, oh, we are fighting them in Borno, are you fighting Boko Haram? Are you fighting Miet Yala, which is a partner in your murderous regime? Are you fighting Ansarudin? Are you fighting Al-Qaeda? Are you fighting ISIS in Greater Sahara? Are you fighting ISWA, ISIS in West Africa? Are you fighting Jamaat Nusrat al-Islam wal Muslimin? Who are you fighting? Do you see the mess you're in? If you're a Nigerian, do you see how hopeless your life is? Because if Jamaat Nusrat doesn't get you, ISIS in West Africa will. If ISIS misses you, ISIS in Greater Sahara will. If they don't get you, Al-Qaeda will surely get you. Let's say you escape Al-Qaeda, Ansarudin is waiting for you. And let's say you manage somehow to wiggle your way out, you confront Boko Haram. And if you manage to go to your village safe, then Miet Yala is there waiting for you. How can you escape? How can Nigeria survive? Even if you're a fool, how can this nonsense survive?